Michael in Imperial Beach, California. Hey, Michael, what's up?
Hey, Mr. Hartman. Okay, I want to hear tonight from President Obama on what Bernie always pounds on, and that's the income inequality. Now, you were speaking about the RBS, the Royal Bank of Scotland, earlier. According to Wikipedia, the bank had a market capitalization of approximately £20.4 billion as of March 2014. So what I want to hear from President Obama tonight is the ridiculousness of income inequality, because if one person that can marry into an individual family, the Waltons, is worth roughly twice as much as RBS, then things are never gonna change in this country if we don't get. I mean, like you said, Dwight Eisenhower, he was happy with 91%. The country was. So what? I know it was Reagan, but what changed?
Yeah, what changed was and I lay this all out in my book, The Crash of 2016. What changed was the Powell Memo. Lewis Powell in 1971, business in this country was largely non-political, and lobbying was pretty much not an industry. And Lewis Powell wrote a memo to Eugene Sindor, his neighbor, and the president or CEO or chairman of the board or whatever it was of the what's the order? Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and said, we've got to get political. We've got to put our people in judgeships. We've got to put our people in state offices. We've got to put our people in federal offices. We've got to take over the colleges. We've got to change the textbooks in our high schools. We've got to get control of the narrative. We've got to produce think tanks that are going to put our talking points out and get them in newspapers, not radio and television. We've got to get our people owning the media. On and on and on. And basically that Powell Memo was executed. And it started 5 years after Powell wrote the memo, when he was put on the Supreme Court a few months after he wrote the memo by Richard Nixon in 71 or early 72. And in 76, he authored the Buckley versus Vallejo decision, in which they concluded that spending money to buy politicians or promote or destroy politicians was not an activity, that it was actually speech protected under the First Amendment. It wasn't an activity that can be regulated. And therefore, here we are. I mean, I would say that if you look at the United States historically, many of the problems that this country has faced, the really intractable problems over time, have been the result of the Supreme Court exceeding their constitutional authority. And I would say that they did that in Dred Scott. I would say that they did that in the 1898 case that established separate but equal, Plessy versus Ferguson. I would say that they did that. They've done, and they certainly did that in Citizens United. And I would even say that they did that in the Buckley case. They created law. They invented doctrine. And so we've got a corrupt political system as a consequence of our Supreme Court making it that way. And we really need to do something about that. Michael, thank you for the call. To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.